Welcome back, everyone. Kind of a random comparison, some may say, but I feel like some people are going to watch this and make a value from it. We're going to compare the Samsung Galaxy S21 against the iPhone XS and see, I guess, which one is the better phone. Surprisingly, there are some advantages for picking up an iPhone XS. But first of all, I'll find the cheapest ones of both of these, link them down in the description below. You can get them from there and help support the channel at the same time. Now, side by side, you can see that the Samsung Galaxy S21 is the bigger phone in pretty much every dimension. Even when you feel them in the hand, it does feel like a little bit of a bigger phone, but it's not a crazy big difference. The iPhone XS, when it first came out, had that 5.8-inch panel, which at the time was actually a good size. Since then, they've gotten bigger, but the resolution of this panel is actually higher than the resolution of the Samsung Galaxy S21, but that doesn't necessarily make this phone that much better of a display or anything like that. I will tell you though, the main advantage and the funny thing with the iPhone XS is actually the fact that I think Samsung actually made this panel. So we're kind of comparing a Samsung panel to a Samsung panel. You have the notch up top, Face ID, pretty much the good stuff. Everyone already knows what this phone looks like. The Samsung Galaxy S21, on the other hand, has a bigger 6.1-inch panel. This one is a 1080p panel. You're getting a fingerprint sensor in the display. You don't have a fingerprint sensor on the iPhone XS, but you're also getting a 120 hertz refresh rate on this panel. So I'm not going to say that automatically makes it a million times better, but that is a really good feature at the end of the day. And that honestly is something I wish, most iPhones have. No iPhones have it, iPads have it, but no iPhones have it. The Galaxy S21 has it, making this display with its hole punch display an overall better panel for sure than the iPhone XS. In terms of, they both have Lightning port. Obviously, this one has a USB Type-C port. In terms of the thickness between them, I actually think the iPhone XS feels thicker than the Samsung Galaxy S21. I know it's kind of funny, but I do think that this device is overall thicker. On the back, I do have the plastic skin over this one, but this one standard has a glass back. The Galaxy S21 has a plastic back. Now, I've been reading the comments. I don't think this device's back is horrible, but you can definitely tell it's plastic. You know what I mean? I think people are saying that it's not. You can definitely tell this thing is plastic when it's warm. When it's a little bit colder, this device is a little bit colder right now. It doesn't feel that type of plastic, but once it gets a little bit warm, then you can definitely tell that it's plastic for sure. I don't know if you felt the S20 FE or the Note 20 is the same thing. But in terms of the outside, that's pretty much what we're comparing with. Dual camera setup on the iPhone XS, triple camera setup on the Galaxy S21. And in terms of that, I think that covers it. I think the S21 overall, though, it is the better phone, I think, overall than the S21, than the iPhone XS in terms of the way it looks. But I still think the iPhone XS kills it in terms of the premiumness. I feel like the iPhone XS feels like more of a premium device in my opinion. Now, funny enough, there is an area where the iPhone XS may actually beat the Galaxy S21. Again, this phone came out in 2018, and that may be the software lifecycle. And I don't know what it is exactly, but also when you look at the stock nature of the iPhone XS's, software, the Galaxy S21 with its bloated software, I was never really a fan of it, to be completely honest. I don't like One UI that much, but the iPhone XS has that stock software, which I love. This is probably the iPhone's biggest advantage of the software, more so than Samsung's, and Google obviously has their ways too with its stock software, but the iPhone XS kills it in that category. And definitely whatever you're going to do with this phone, you are going to have a good experience when it comes down to the software. Now, it's not always going to be perfect. You're going to run into glitches and random things that happen all the time, but for sure the iPhone XS's software is great and better than the Samsung in my opinion. But the main thing is that the software lifecycle may actually end up being better on the iPhone XS than on the Samsung Galaxy S21. We really don't know as a fact yet, but I would say these phones are going to end around the same time. So the year the S21 may end in the terms of software, the iPhone XS may actually end that same year too, which is so crazy to think because this phone came out almost 3 years ago. This phone just came out. But this device may actually end up, keeping the same type of software, may even end up beating in terms of full OS updates than the Samsung Galaxy S21. But not all is, just bad on the S21. There's a huge advantage that the S21 has over the iPhone XS, and that is definitely the battery life. The iPhone XS had a decent battery size and all that stuff, but the S21 with its 4,000 mAh battery does actually outbeat my iPhone XS. I've done tons of tests between all these phones. I have battery tests coming out with these devices hopefully sooner than later, and for sure at the end of the day, the iPhone XS just doesn't really compete well with the Galaxy S21's battery life as of right now. I don't know if it's always going to be like that. It probably is, but the Galaxy S21 definitely has really, really good battery life for sure. So In terms of that, that's probably one of the bigger differences between these phones for sure. Now we'll go ahead and do a speed comparison between these both devices. The iPhone XS has that Apple A12 Bionic chip inside of it with 4 gigabytes of RAM, where the Samsung Galaxy S21 has that Qualcomm Snapdragon 888 chipset inside of it with 8 gigabytes of RAM. So let's go and see which one is the faster phone between both of these. Okay, let me go and clear all the apps in the background, and as you can see, it will just take 2 seconds. Let's go and start opening things up. Phone calls, 3, 2, 1. And about the same on both. Let me go and hop out of these two, and you can see the animation speeds are about the same too, not a big difference at all. Cameras, 3, 2, 1. And I think the iPhone XS may actually have been a little bit faster there. It's kind of tough to say though. App Stores, 3, 2, 1. And the Galaxy S21 has just been killing it in terms of opening up the App Store. I think like Google or Samsung enabled the App Store just to open so fast on it. So I think it was actually faster than the iPhone XS. Scrolling through the specific App Store though, they both look pretty smooth. I don't think there's a crazy big winner, but the S21 was faster to open it. Now as always, I have a bunch of these third-party apps that we can go ahead and open. So start opening them up. Let's go ahead and do Snapchat. 3, 2, 1. Now I am logged into here. I was logged into here, but I had to log out to log into this one. So I guess that one's whatever. I think I don't have Dune here. I wish I did. Snake versus Blocks. 3, 2, 1. And I think the Galaxy S21 was the faster one there, as you guys saw. Getting into some gameplay. As always, I don't think there's going to be a major difference, but for sure the Samsung Galaxy S21 was faster to load into that specific game. A little bit of a glitch there too, I just noticed on the iPhone XS. Stack. 3, 2, 1. And you can see the Galaxy S21 so much faster than the iPhone XS for sure. Hopping out of that one, let's go and do Temple Run 2. And I don't even know where this app is. It's like these apps just like have a mind of their own. There we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh, I just hit my camera on my microphone too. And you can see the Galaxy S21 so much faster. I mean, this is a pretty big difference, and take it as you will. I don't want to say the Galaxy S21 is just like miles ahead of the iPhone XS in every category, but I'm pretty much seeing that the iPhone XS is a little bit slower than the Galaxy S21 for sure. And to be honest, this is what I like seeing. I like seeing visible, noticeable differences in terms of the performance. I don't want to see like the iPhone XS beating it every single time because this is a newer, more expensive phone. I want this one to be faster. And that's pretty much what we're getting here. Hopping out of this specific app, let's go and do Fruit Ninja. 3, 2, 1. But also at the same time, I gotta say this, the iPhone XS is still killing it. It came out in 2018, still has a lot of character for sure, and it's really not that slow. Like compared to the S21, it's just a little bit slower. This may have been even a little bit faster on the iPhone XS in terms of getting into that specific panel. Quizlet. 3, 2, 1. On the S21, it's just so fast, I don't know why. iPhone XS a little bit behind. Bofa. 3, 2, 1. And Galaxy S21 is faster. iPhone XS is probably going to be right behind it. Noticeable difference for sure right there. Twitter. 3, 2, 1. Galaxy S21 faster, iPhone XS a little bit behind, and I would have done Paper IO 3D, but I don't have it on either one of these. Now, we tested, a good amount of apps, and what I can tell you at the end of the day, the Galaxy S21 is for sure the faster device, which is actually a good thing. I'm glad that an older phone is a little bit slower than the newer phone. This phone is more expensive. You can pick up this device. Actually, I think the app on Samsung Galaxy S21 restarted, which is very weird. I'm not really too sure why the iPhone XS was able to keep that in the background. These ones are a little bit different because I was logged in and logged out of one. Let's go to Snake versus Blocks. Galaxy S21 able to keep that in the background a little bit. Let me just keep this going for like one more app. So let's just do this one. So they both kept it. So I can definitely tell you the iPhone XS is a little bit slower, but still a really good performing phone at the end of the day. So in terms of the speed comparison, that pretty much covers it up. Let's go and hit on the cameras. Now you have a dual camera setup on the iPhone XS and a triple camera setup on the Samsung Galaxy S21, a wide-angle lens, telephoto lens, and an ultra-wide sensor. The XS has that wide-angle lens and that telephoto lens. In terms of the UIs on both, they kind of semi have the same thing going on. I mean, if you look at them, they kind of have the same thing. Obviously, with the Galaxy S21, you are getting way more features. You're also getting the ability of shooting 8K videos on the back, but 4K at 60 on the front. You can only do 4K at 60 on the back, which is still really good on the XS, but you can only do 1080p at 60 on the front of the iPhone XS, so keep that in mind. Now, throughout the duration of the iPhone XS, I always said it had a good camera because it does have a good camera for the most part. I don't think it's like a crazy, amazing camera that's going to blow anyone's socks off, but I think for the most part, it's a really good camera. I wish it did have an ultra wide sensor, it would have been really cool, but I still think that telephoto lens is perfectly fine for pretty much everything you're going to do. And I would be surprised if anybody, really complains about not having an ultra wide sensor. I feel like people like me are the only ones who complain about it because they have to find things to complain about. Other than that, the other only small little complaint is the lack of 4K 60 on the front. I think the front camera on the iPhone XS is still more than enough good, but the Galaxy S21 definitely wins in terms of the camera department. When you have a phone like the Samsung Galaxy S21 Plus, you're going to be feature set for a while. I mean, this device has that ultra-wide sensor and telephoto lenses, which I've said before, and you probably heard me say it. It's like the triple threat. I mean, having those three cameras are seriously some of the most important things you can do to future-proof yourself on any phone. But on top of that, 8K capability on the back, that is seriously really awesome. 4K 60 on the front as well. I mean, at the end of the day, this is seriously one of the biggest assets of owning the Samsung Galaxy S21 right now over the XS. So to kind of sum up this video and to answer the question, should you go and buy an iPhone XS? Should you go and buy a Galaxy S21? Well, this is pretty much what I'll tell you. I think at the end of the day, the S21 is probably the better phone than the iPhone XS. There are a few areas where the iPhone XS is a winner and some areas where I would go pick this phone up over this one. Some of the advantage, I mean, first of all, still has a really good build quality, arguably maybe even better than the S21. You're getting a beautiful display, you're getting a beautiful software that is another humongous asset. The software lifecycle is going to arguably be around the same, if not better, than what you're going to be getting on an S21. So the stock software is just another huge check mark. But software longevity, I mean, this thing is at least probably going to get it like another like 3 updates maybe. This one is probably going to get like 3 updates, maybe more, who knows. So these are going to end off at around the same time. It's not like this one's going to, drastically outlast this one. It's probably going to be within like a year where one of these is going to beat out the other. It's probably going to be within a year where one of these is going to beat out the other one. The build quality is strong. The performance is still pretty good. The performance is still smooth for the most part. And overall, it's cheaper than the S21 as well. So you're getting a great phone for cheaper than the S21. I mean, it's pretty hard to beat. But the Galaxy S21, I think, is the more flagship phone. When I think of a flagship phone, I think of this device. I mean, you're getting that 120 hertz refresh rate, which is a really cool asset for it. Newer design with that hole punch display, fingerprint sensor in the display, reverse wireless charging, which is another huge asset for it. The camera on the Samsung Galaxy S21 is a killer camera lens. Triple cameras, like I said, the triple threat, 8K capability, 4K 60 on the front. Performance is better than the iPhone XS. It's still smoother than I think than the iPhone XS as well. And I think at the end of the day, I would probably rather have a Samsung Galaxy S21 than an iPhone XS. But I really don't think I would go from an iPhone XS to an S21. I think I would go from like an iPhone XS to something like an S20 Ultra or something like that, because that phone has killer capability, even an S21 Plus. I don't think I would necessarily go from this device to this device. I would rather save some money and pick up this one, to be honest. But I would rather have the S21 because this is a more complete flagship device at the end of the day. So in terms of that pretty much covers it up. If you guys have any other questions or if you want to pick up these phones, like I said, links will be down in the description. You can get them from there and help support the channel at the same time. Check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my other channels. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.